How's it going, Rogues Gallery, and welcome to another Flesh and Blood video here on Red Zone Rogue. Today we are going to be going over and reviewing Collector's Week, something that Flesh and Blood has done for the first time ever, and I've kind of been, you know, keeping an eye on it as it rolls out, reading the articles, but we're going to talk about them and kind of give a little review of the event of the week and talk about what I think about all of the stuff. So instead of doing videos every single day for this, I figured we would just do a big old recap at the end. Think of this as the Collector's Week recap. If you like what I do here, definitely subscribe to the channel, like the video, and maybe join our channel memberships. We're going to be adding some new Flesh and Blood emotes to that, so you can use those emotes in the comment section and in our live streams, which we should be doing much more of. Got a nice Uzuri deck here ready. Got this nice Uzuri deck ready to play. So yes. All that kind of good stuff. Also, there's the Discord and online store and all that kind of good stuff. Anyway, let's start off Collector's Week chatting about the last one, the print run update, which is interesting because I kind of don't care all that much about the print runs. You see some people online in the Flesh and Blood community who are just like, I gotta know the print run. How many booster boxes of Arcane Rising? How many Monarch? It's interesting to see, though. So we're going to take a look at it. We are going to take a look at it. It's interesting to see what they shared and what they didn't share. And maybe you have an opinion on it. So basically, they talk about the things that are out of print or out of stock OOS at LSS and based on the data. And there's also some other interesting things here as well. So it says the Collector Center has been updated with print run and out of print status for a number of sets today. Here's a summary of all the booster set print run data currently published for your convenience. Quantities shown are displays, which are booster boxes, right? So you can see here, I'm pretty sure we knew these numbers already. Welcome to Wraith. First edition, about 17,000, 16.7 thousand. Arcane Rising, 16.7 thousand. And then Crucible of War first edition, 37.5 thousand, which is, you know, a little bit like double these. I don't think these are very surprising to very many people. And these are very, very, very small numbers. And here we can see Unlimited. So you have Unlimited Welcome to Wraith, which is like 250,000. 248,000, only 144k of which are in the US, and ROW means rest of world, which means there's 104,000 in the rest of the world. Arcane Rising, significantly less at 179,000, and then we have 104,000 in the US, and then 71k rest of world. And then Crucible of War, Unlimited, not a whole lot, 125,000, though then again, it's more similar to Arcane Rising than not. 75k and then 50k for rest of the world. And we also have unlimited runs for the rest of them. Monarch, I was gonna say Elemental, no. Monarch, Tales of Aria, and Everfest. These are all to be announced. I'm sure all of the Mon to 1k people are sad that they can't see the unlimited numbers. Yeah, I know it's for first edition, but it's just fun to, it's just fun. Anyway, so we have the print run numbers for these. We have 125,000 for Monarch First Edition, 208,000 for Tales of Aria, and then 229,000 for Everfest. What's interesting about Everfest is Everfest has not, Reyes says down here, Everfest Unlimited has yet to be released. So Everfest right here says, here's a print run summary for all the booster sets. Out of print, says Everfest is out of print, but the Unlimited has yet to be released. And the yet to be released is very interesting, which makes me think that it is printed, but just not shipped yet. Very interesting. Then we have the newer sets, which they don't have any, they haven't released any information on these at all. Uprising Dynasty, Outsiders, History Pack 1, these are all actually still in print, as well as, well, these ones are all still in print. History Pack 1 Black Label is not, and the print run is tiny, 45,000. History Pack 1 Black Label, and as you can see, it is out of print. History Pack 2 Black Label is also out of print, which means they have already printed it, but we don't have the numbers for it yet. Yeah, that's exactly what this means. And obviously, you've already seen History Pack 2 Black Label. It's been out and about in the countries where it is relevant. will not be out in English. Well, just the History Pack 2 in the white border version will not be out in English for a little while. And so, yeah, those are the print run numbers. Like I said, I don't really care all that much, and I don't have a lot of opinions, other than that some of these numbers seem pretty small. Like, just pointing out the obvious, like, some of these numbers are pretty small. Even the Monarch First Edition doesn't seem crazy big. It's about the same as the Unlimited Crucible of War. I think that's what a takeaway. Unlimited Crucible of War has like the same print run numbers as Monarch First. And as you can see, they've started to get bigger here with the First Edition print runs, making them a lot closer to the Unlimited print runs here. So we have like Everfest First Edition is not that far off from WTR, right? When you look at the big, like in the big scheme of things, it's about the same size as it's about this much off. So yeah, that's the first bit of Collector's Week. Let's show off some other stuff. So there was a Collector's Week, if you didn't know, by the way, is a series of articles just showcasing and celebrating collecting in Flesh and Blood. And I myself, like, do I consider myself a collector? I consider myself I'm a content creator. I talk a lot about Flesh and Blood. But I'm a player first. I love playing the game. That's why I'm so into it. I love playing the game, and I love experiencing the world and the lore. I'm here for Flesh and Blood as a whole. And I also like collecting, too. It's not on the top end of my things. In fact, if I'm going to talk collecting, let's see if I can get this. Collecting art is I like collecting art, especially like hand-drawn artwork by Flesh and Blood artists. That's my favorite. But I do like collecting. So, yeah, let's get into this a little bit. So this one is an article that talks about the gold cards, and I'm not going to read the whole thing for all these. I'm just going to kind of summarize it a little bit. They talk about the gold cards, and they talk about how you attain them, which ones you get for what events. If you don't know, these gold foil cards are special cards that you can only get as prizes at various events. So for example, you can get a gold foil legendary at any of these events. These are going to be like the higher tier competitive events like World Champs, Pro Tour Calling, National Champs, depending on the size, because some National Champs are very small, and then at Battle Hardens. You can get gold foil Majestic Rare and Commons at ProQuest and other select programs. So if you're looking to get like a gold foil Mask of Momentum, which I don't know if there's any left, but it would be at one of these big events. And you can kind of see here how many of each they are making for each one. So here you can see like Extended Art Legendaries, 25, and says, please note that there are 50 Extended Art Gold Foil Fandel Spring Tunic in circulation. They're awarded prior to the establishment of baseline quantity. So there's actually more Spring Tunics than the other Extended Art ones, which is very interesting, Legendaries, there'll be 40 of each, which is still less than the number of Tunics. Majestics will be 60, which is pretty close to the number of Tunics. And then you have your Rares at 80 and Common at 100. And it does have like some breakdowns down here. And it says, when you get hands on one of those coveted little LSS black envelopes, what is the chance of hitting a specific card? Well, we're excited to share the exact data with you. As each new batch of gold foil prize cards is printed and added to the total gold foil inventory, it has a diluting effect on the drop rate of each specific card. Duh, that makes sense. We intentionally print significantly more gold foil cards each batch than will be awarded over a subsequent OP season, so the total gold foil inventory pool held by LSS gradually increases, making the drop rates of each specific gold foil rarer and rarer over time. So that's really interesting, actually. Without further ado, you can see the complete inventory circulation drop rate percentage and accompanying notes in the shiny new gold foil page in the Collector Center, and that's going to be right on over here. And you can see gold foil prize cards, and you can see all of the drop rates. If you want to get like into the dirty of all this, go for it. Here you go. Here's the drop rate. So like, for example, gold foil scabskin leathers, there are 22 still unallocated. Oh, I mentioned Mask of Momentum. Here we go. Let's check it out. So there are 21 unallocated Mask of Momentums. You have a 2.96% chance to get a gold foil Mask of Momentum at one of these events. What's really cool is that some of these are, I think all of these are still in circulation. Yeah. What's the rarest one? Ooh, Shock Charmers. There's only 7 left. But there's a bunch of these that haven't been added yet, like the all the Outsiders ones here. Ooh, Redback Shard. Ooh, Flick Knives. You're speaking my language there. And you have all the commons and all that kind of good stuff. Commons, rares, majestics. So if you want the specifics, here you go. Here are the really fancy ones. So all of the tunics are gone. Currently, Calling Champion prize, you will get a Crown of Providence. There's 18 left. Only 7 in circulation, 18 left. If you win a Calling, you got a Crown of Providence. Silver Palms are... The gold Silver Palms are given for social side play events. I have seen these been given out at like Ultimate Pit Fight events at some of these. So that's where you can find that kind of stuff. So pretty cool if you want to check all that jazz out. We also have Collect What You Love, which I very much agree with. And once again, this is an article that just goes really deep into collecting and grading. This one was actually written by, I do believe it was written by Saint. Yeah, written by Saint and Ben Kiel. So Saint Hung and Ben Kiel. And it just kind of really goes into collecting and enjoying collecting. If you are someone who is a collector of any card game, Flesh and Blood or whatever, I think this is definitely worth a read. And I'm not going to summarize, I'm not going to read the whole thing once again, but I am going to summarize it a little bit. And that is, it's, you know, collect what you like. And Flesh and Blood is fun to collect for a lot of people because the cards are beautiful. Some of the cards are very hard to get. They're very scarce. And there's like genuine demand for them. And it says here, yeah, beauty and scarcity. That's what makes Flesh and Blood so special. Also, it is incredible. It's an incredible game. And for me, that's the big thing. It's just something that I'm very attached to, and you know, it just makes me want to collect them. I used to want to get a full cold foil legendary set from every set, but it's been very hard with FAB 2.0 to do that because the legendaries are really hard to get. So now my goal is to just get a play set of every card, every set, so I can build whatever decks that I want. And then I try to get the cold foils that I really want. So for example, I went and sought out a cold foil Plague Hive. Like that was really important to me because I love Plague Hive and it's an Assassin Ranger card. Assassin Ranger Fabled, which is just, it speaks to me. So I really wanted to get one. And then just a lot of tips, you know the value of what you're buying, understand the scarcity of importance, don't get scammed, and then take care of your collection, which is good. If you have a lot of expensive stuff, you know, take care of it. And then talk about like, you know, grading. Here's a bunch of Beckett 10s. You can see, I guess this is probably Saints. Yep, these are all Saints snatches, probably alpha snatches. I'm not sure if they're all foil, but there's a bunch of alpha snatches and a bunch of cold foil legendaries, all that kind of good stuff. And even it comes down to play mats. I have even released a couple like 1-of-1 play mats or 1 of 2 or 3 play mats. For example, for my 10,000 subscriber celebration, I released a special alt-colored blue version of our 10K playmat, and I think the only people who own one is I have one. The winner of the giveaway has one, and I gave one to James White. And I think James has a very special, unique one because his has frames, and the other 2 are full art. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I like doing kind of cool stuff like that. Not because they're worth money, but because I think that it's cool to have something special, and I think that's what a lot of the collecting comes down to. It's cool to have something special or something that means something to you, or both. It can be both sometimes. All right, let's move on to the next Collectors Week article, the Ultimate Flex. Oh yeah, this is, we got Marvel Emperor deck here. So this is done by Kasper Hermansen, and it's like, it just talks about the Marvel Emperor deck. So it's like really like a high flex deck. I don't say they're trying to go for it as competitive as possible, but they do both. So they first have a deck that it's a little bit more competitive, right? And you can see some of the picks here. And once again, not reading the whole thing. If you'd like to read the whole article, please go do so. But they wanna flex the deck, right? So they have their Marvel Command and Conquers, First Edition Life for a Life, First Edition Spoils of War, and it has the full list here. And they wanted to be very specific. Like you have to have the cold foil Jubile. You have to have the Marvel Emperor, cold foil Crown of Providence. Like this is a flex deck, right? They're flexing here. Cold foil first edition Storm Striders. Hey, you know what? You could go one better. You can go gold foil, which is what I think they do here, which is the ultimate flex. This is to go even further beyond. And you have all the gold foils here, like gold foil everything, first edition foil of everything. And there you go. You can have your $1 million deck or whatever it is, which is just kind of funny. Go forth, flex upon thine enemies for the glory of the Empire, until a spider comes along and ends things. So yeah, this is kind of a fun little article. You can go look at the mega flex here. And then we have the last article is all about grading, which is not something that I'm super into, mostly because I like playing with my cards. I even play with my Alpha E-Strikes and my first edition Command & Conquerors. I play with them because that's what they mean the most to me as game pieces. But to some people, you know, they mean the most to them as graded pieces. And I think both of them are very valid ways to approach it. And, you know, this just kind of goes into grading. This is done by Matt Rogers. And, you know, he's one of the owners of PCG, or maybe the sole owner. I'm not sure the exact company layout of PCG. But he's one of the dudes from PCG. And, yeah, you could just talk. This whole thing just talks about grading and the grading process, why you should grade. It really goes into it, which I think is interesting. So anyone who's like been curious about like, ooh, how does grading work? All of that good stuff. Why grade? I think this is worth reading if you're into that kind of stuff. Like I said, for me personally, I'm not super into grading, but I know a lot of people who are, and like I said, I think it is a valid way to collect for most people. Some do it for fun and just to try to get the biggest numbers. Some people do it to try to turn a profit. Like I have a cold foil tunic. I don't have an extended art one like this, but I have a cold foil tunic that I've thought about grading, but at the end of the day, I'm just like, I'm fine with it as it is, honestly. I don't plan on selling it. It's like, it means more to me than that. So, but yeah, that's Collector's Week. What did I think of Collector's Week? I thought Collector's Week is, it's an interesting experiment that they did. I thought it was cool that they are focusing on something like Collector's Week when the normal focus of Flesh and Blood, especially on the main channel here, on the main website, is on competitive play. I like them focusing on other aspects. I would love to see them focus more on social play, which I think is something that they will probably be doing in the future. Listening to James White's most recent interviews, it seems that that's a direction that they want to explore more, which is great. It's a direction that I have personally said that I think should be explored a lot more in Flesh and Blood, because, you know, at the end of the day, you can only have so many top-level pro players. The majority of your player base for any card game are going to be the social players. I don't want to say casual players, because social players can be competitive too, but you can be competitive at Ultimate Pit Fight. You can be competitive, you know, at the kitchen table, at your locals, or anything like that. But you can also just be, you know, just play socially with friends, or maybe you only go to your locals. And so I think focusing more on that and maybe alternate formats would be great. So I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, I think this is pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. You know, as someone who's like a tangential collector, I would say like it's a part of the pie where, you know, in my Flesh and Blood ecosystem, it's part of the pie. For me, it's a smaller part. It's a smaller part, but I still dig it and I still understand it. It's like, you know, I know people who literally only just like, oh, I only play limited, right? So they show up to the sealed and the draft event and they just sell all their cards after they play, and that's it. That's cool. That's cool. Like, that's how they want to experience the game, and that's great. And then there's people who only collect, and then there's people who are like me, who kind of dabble in everything. I imagine most people are kind of a mix of everything. So actually curious to know what your opinions are of Collector's Week in the comments down below. Do you think it was a success? Do you think it was interesting? I thought it was pretty interesting. And it's cool to see from like different aspects of the community. So yeah, I hope this is a portent of things to come, if they're going to be highlighting different parts of the Flesh and Blood community. So looking forward to that, hopefully, if it happens. And looking forward to more Flesh and Blood stuff in the future. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you next time.